So you were wondering what I'm gonna do with all the beeswax that I collected from the beehives or from the honeycomb. So because I use the flow frame, so there's not much of beeswax at all. So I only collect probably around 2 cups of beeswax. And as you notice here, I am unable to extract the honey out of the beeswax properly. So they're in like a granular sort of like consistency from all the filter and everything like that. So yeah, so today I'm going to teach you how to, or show you how I would do a balms or a salve for everyday use. Like for example, you can use for skin inflammation, for cuts, for insect bite. I think I would call it the everything balm that you can use every day for everything, for any skin condition. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I'm gonna use it with this is what I call frankincense granular. So this is the tier of frankincense. So they're quite lovely little golden shaped, sort of like raisin. So it's from one of those rare ancient trees. So this is one of the sacred like herb from back in Yeon from Jesus Christ time. I'm not so sure. So so what we're going to do is that we're going to use Boswellia sacra, okay, and also we're going to use white sage. Remember a while back when I did the coconut infused white sage? So you want to know what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to use all of them in the same recipe. So beeswax, frankincense, and other essential oil to make it like a everyday sort of like multi-purpose sort of like ointments or balms or sage with everything. So let me show you what I am doing on this side here. So this is my frankincense infused oil. So it's actually double boil with the double glass panel, and it's been like this for nearly 2 hours now. So it's been boiling for 2 hours. Yeah, on a low heat, slow infusion. So what I'm trying to do is try to get the active constituents of the frankincense out, so then we can use them for our oil infusions. So here I also have the white sage coconut infusion. So by the way, I use coconut oil here, and I also use coconut oil here as well. So this is the white sage coconut oil that I did probably around 9 months ago. So I just shift it through and just collect that. You can see that it still have a lot of impurity in there, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna filter it out anyway. So I'll show you that in a minute. So while that's boiling, so what we do is that we're talking about formula, okay? So what I mean by formula is that you do, there's a lot of ratio between beeswax and oil. So I'm probably going to use like roughly 2 cups of oil and probably 70% of a cups of beeswax, because I don't want to make it too thick, and I do not want to make them too loose, because I want to make them in a way that is, when it's formulated and solidified, I don't want to be too soft or too hard. If it's too hard, it's very hard to rub on the skin, and when you rub on the skin, it won't melt, so that defeats the purpose. And the other one, if it's too soft, when you touch them and then turn liquid, then it wouldn't be good for using on your skin anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna use. 2 cups of oil of any of your choice. So I use coconut oil infused with frankincense granular and also with sage. And I also use 2/3, no, 70%. Okay, 70% of the beeswax of a cups. Okay, so you will do your math, okay? So because I'm gonna go and filter the frankincense sort of like residue out later, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna put the beeswax in there as well, because these need to be filtered too. So why don't I just filter 2 at the same time? So I'm putting 2 spoons. No, 2 spoons and Well, if it's too hot, what you do, you take it down, you pour some more oil in, and then you do it again. So that is pretty much 70% of a cup, I think. No, just add a bit more. There we go. Next time, please use the scale. There's a lot of people on the internet, there's a lot of recipe. You can use it for lip balm, but because I sort of like adding a lot of frankincense in here, I want to use it like a multi-purpose sort of like balm or salve. So I don't recommend this for like lip balm, okay, unless you have like a lip ulcer or something like that. But it's gonna be really like medicinal and full of essential oil, so I don't think that's a good idea. So what you do is you wait until the beeswax sort of like melt. So as you can see, it starts to melt. So always use a double boiling method, because this way it won't burn the oil. As you can see here, there's only some large beeswax lump now. So I won't add in the sage infused oil now. So I might just wait until the beeswax like melt completely. Then I will add in the sage coconut oil infusion in. Okay, we just leave it like that, and then we're gonna come back for so while that's happening, what I do is that I'll use alcohol wipes, you know, and then I'm gonna put everything in here. So what I do is that I use alcohol wipe to clean on the inside of the bottle or jar, or whichever one that you use. I use amber simply because this will keep it longer. So I'll just pop it in there like that and turn it upside down, because I don't want dust or anything to get that. Make sure I clean the lid inside out. And I do that for probably, I don't know how many containers I'm going to need, but I'm just going to do that for the whole lot. You can also use any jar that you like. I don't think it's really matter which one it is. However, if you use one of those glass see-through fancy sort of like container, what you do is that make sure you keep them in the shade area or in a dark area. Don't let them expose to the sun. Same with these. So you can use some of these lovely cups as well. I just love it. It looks fancy and classy. So this is like a great idea for like a special present for friends and family in this nice fancy crystal little container. So while that's happening, we're just going to turn it upside down, and then we just wait for the beeswax to melt, and then we're going to mix it. So when the beeswax has been melted, I add in the sage coconut infused oil and mix them all up. And as you can see here, the honey is actually sitting it down like a darker color with the frankincense raisin. So what I do is that I try my best to mix them as much as possible, because I still want that honey sort of a sensation. So there's other thing I add in with these one, like that this is an every sort of like day cream for everything. So I'm using sort of like anti-inflammatory. So, oh my God, it's upside down, right side up, yeah. So this is an ordinary. They have resveratrol 3% and floronic acid 3%. So this is very good for redness skin, inflammations, and acne and that sort of thing. So what I do is that I'm going to put 10, so like 5 ml in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stir it. Keep on stirring it. I also put the EUK 134 0.5%. This is an antioxidant. So this is from, I think it's from a Tasmanian tree, I think. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you do oil base, sort of like balm or sage or anything like that, just remember, make sure you use oil base, okay? Like whatever essential oil that you use, you need to use essential oil. So keep on stirring it so it's mixing properly. And I also use lavender as well. Roughly another 10 ml. Oh no, that's not enough. No, I'm using whatever that is left in there. And another thing I use will be the myrrh oil. Myrrh oil and frankincense oil is very similar. I'm just going to use around 1 ml. Oh, that's a bit too much. I think I just put in 3 ml in there. So, just stir it up. Just remember the surface is really hot. And the smell of lavender is so soothing and so amazing. And you can see it's quite glossy. So now time to strain them. So this is really hot. So what you do is that I use one of these IKEA funnel, sort of like very thin sheaf. So, and put in something that I can pour. So when you pour it in and you sift it through like that, so just lift it up a little bit. You notice when it's cooled down and then they start to melt. So just make sure that it's nice and beautifully sipped right through. And this is really hot, so just be careful. So while that's shifting too, so what we do is that we're just going to take it out and we let it drain too slowly on something else, like whichever that is. We let it strip right through. Now, so we got a lot in here, and we can notice like it's already start drying up. Like this is a nice consistency, sort of like oil. So pour in our cups. So just pour in as much as you to fill to the brim. So just pour it in. You can put them in the fridge to keep it nice and so then it's cool down faster, or you can leave it outside, okay? And you need to do it quickly because it's gonna condense quite quick and form into solid. I'm gonna make one in this fancy one so I can use it at home. So as you can see now, it's pretty much settled, and it's not completely condensed right into the middle of it, but it's nice and soft. So I just want to make one in a clear container like that so we can compare. So that is ready to use or give it to someone. These here, you can see the little bit of like dark sort of like brown color in it, simply because of the honey that was still in the mixture of the beeswax. So it's actually condensed, and you can have like a little bit of like honey on top of it for your full body. The smell is actually quite pleasant. I was quite surprised. I thought the sage would be taking over with the coconut oil, but the lavender did a wonderful job. So as you can see here, it's nice and soft and ready to use. So it's not thick. As you can see here, it's not thick at all. So it's actually nice and gentle, melt onto your skin. So this is a good mixture. So I think I did add a little bit more beeswax in afterwards. So what I did was 1 cup of beeswax equal to 2 cups of oil. So 1 to 2. And because the beeswax I use, they are in granular and they're fresh. So maybe it's a little bit softer, so I need to use more beeswax. But if you're using a block or something like that, because they're already dense and pressed it, so you probably need 1 to 3, sort of like 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 sort of like ratio. But look at that, nice and beautiful and sparkling. So I use this for like bee sting, insect sting, and that sort of thing. And make sure you massage it right through, so then it's absorbed much better. And that way it's beautiful and soft to use. Also, you know, with the frankincense granular, like the one I was talking about here. So with that one there, I think it's good that you crush them real small and infuse with oil first. So there's a lot of people teaching you how to infuse frankincense oil. So do that one first and then mix them in with the other oil or the beeswax. Instead of putting the unfiltered beeswax and that together and filter together, what happens is that when it gets cool, it clumps together and then you lose a lot of those oil. So it's a waste of time. So that was a problem I had. I should have probably another 2 of these, but then again I wasted. So it's the first time that I use raw beeswax, and also the first time I infuse frankincense oil on its own. So yeah, it's a lesson learned. Next time I'll do a separate. Okay, that's it. My beeswax with frankincense and essential oil for everyday body balm or salve. Thank you for watching.